The MCG is the mecca of Australian rules and the very birthplace of the game back in the 1850s. The eminent historian Professor Geoffrey Blainey has documented football's history from its formative years in the parklands around the MCG.
In the parkland here, players began to play at least as early as 1858. They weren't allowed on the cricket ground for many years, and indeed, as far as we can tell, they played on a squarish ground with the trees still standing in position, so that if you approached goal, one of the manoeuvres was to duck behind a tree and then come out on the opposite side.
On some accounts, Gaelic football's roots go back to the 14th century, and its evolution has followed the tide of Irish nationalism. Croke Park in Dublin is the home of Gaelic football, a game that has the passionate following of hundreds of thousands. Popular belief has held that Australian rules derive from Gaelic football, but Professor Blainey rejects the theory that Irish immigrants brought the game to the colonies of Australia.
One can trace the history of the game here, and most of the distinctive features of Australian rules, whether the high mark, bouncing the ball while you're running, the oval arena, you can actually see the time when they were invented here, and there's no evidence of any Irish influence.
Others aren't so sure. Jim Mayne, himself a writer on football history, says Professor Blainey overlooks strong circumstantial evidence.
He says there's no concrete evidence, but I think there is circumstantial evidence. For example, in Gaelic football, there were behind posts used, as in our game, up until 1910. What a remarkable coincidence that two football codes on opposite sides of the world used behind posts, the only codes to do so. Also, one of the founders of Australian football went to Trinity College Dublin, which just happened to be the very first Gaelic football club, so there is some circumstantial evidence, yes.
Whether Australian rules derive from rugby, soccer, Gaelic football, or a combination of all three is a question that will continue to exercise historical minds. But in modern times, there seems no doubt that Australian rules and Gaelic football are truly sporting cousins, both with fanatical followers.
Yes, it seems they're closer than cousins.